I took the tin cans that everyone throws away and turned them into a mini stove that can actually cook. And surprisingly, it works far better than I ever expected. With just a few basic steps and easily sourced tools, you not only reduce the amount of waste released into the environment, but also create a highly practical product, suitable for camping, survival situations, or interesting DIY experiments. This is a cost-effective, practical, and highly creative way to repurpose old materials. First, I completely remove the outer label from the can. If left in place, this paper and adhesive layer can easily burn, produce an unpleasant odor when exposed to heat, and detract from the appearance of the mini stove. As for the can lid, I don't discard it. Instead, I reuse the pull tab itself as a handle for the stove. This small detail makes it much more convenient to move and lift the stove, especially when it is still hot. With a bit of reinforcement to secure the attachment point, the pull tab becomes a simple yet effective handle. Next, I mark the points on the bottom of the can in preparation for punching the holes that will shape the stove. I space the marks evenly and ensure a symmetrical layout, so that airflow is distributed uniformly when the stove is in operation. Careful marking from the outset helps make the hole punching process more precise and minimizes errors. At the center of the can's bottom, I draw an additional circle that is larger than the surrounding points. This area will serve as a primary air intake or heat outlet, so it needs to be clearly defined from the very beginning. Once all the markings are complete, I begin drilling holes exactly at the positions that were identified earlier. Next, I mark 2 additional holes on opposite sides of the can body, positioned symmetrically to serve as the mounting points for the stove handle. After completing the hole punching, I use coarse grit sandpaper to go over all the freshly cut edges. The goal is to smooth out any sharp metal burrs, preventing cuts during assembly and later use. From the bottom of the can, I measure and mark a section about 5 centimeters high for use in the next step. This part is kept as the main frame, while the excess material above it will be cut away later. Defining the height in advance helps the mini stove maintain a compact, well-proportioned form and greater stability when supporting a pot. I do the same with this can as well. The measuring, cutting, and edge finishing steps are carried out in exactly the same way to ensure that both parts are uniform in size. With its compact size, this stove is very easy to carry. It takes up minimal space and can be neatly packed into a backpack or gear bag without adding bulk. Thanks to its lightweight and simple design, this mini stove is especially suitable for picnics, short camping trips, or as a backup stove when needed. After finishing the markings, I cut the can along the designated lines. At this stage, I use a cutting tool to save time and achieve cleaner, more precise cuts compared to doing it by hand. Next, I take a soda can and completely remove both the top and bottom, keeping only the cylindrical middle section. This metal piece is thin and lightweight, yet still rigid enough to work with, making it ideal for fabricating supporting components for the stove. After that, I trim this can sleeve to adjust its size so it fits snugly into the circular opening at the center of the stove. I test fit it gradually, cutting and refining little by little until the metal piece slides in neatly without being too loose or too tight. Next, I create small grooves on this piece to form fuel channels. These grooves allow the alcohol to soak in and spread evenly, helping ensure a more stable combustion process when the stove is in operation. I use pliers to gently squeeze this tin can section so it becomes slightly smaller in diameter. Reducing the diameter makes it easier to place the remaining can over the top without interference or jamming. I compress it little by little, adjusting gradually until the two parts fit together properly. Secure enough to feel solid, yet still easy to disassemble when adjustments are needed. Next, I take a piece of steel wool and cut out the center to create a circular opening. Forming this hole helps the steel will fit more appropriately inside the stove while still retaining its ability to absorb and conduct fuel. I roll the tin can sleeve tightly to form a neatly sized cylindrical tube, then insert it through the center of the steel wool that has been cut with a hole. Once assembled, the two parts hold together firmly, forming a solid, integrated unit. I place this entire assembly onto the bottom of the stove can. The roll can sleeve and the steel will sit neatly inside, fitting snugly within the base structure that was prepared earlier. I attach the remaining top section of the stove. Once positioned correctly, all the components fit together neatly, forming the completed shape of the mini stove. I attach the two stove handles to the pre-drilled holes on each side of the can body. I position the pull tabs correctly, align them evenly, and then secure them with screws. Once the screws are tightened, both handles are firmly in place with no looseness. I gently bend the two pull tabs outward to shape them more like proper handles. I adjust each side gradually, forming an even curve with enough clearance for a comfortable grip while still maintaining strength. Once finished, the handles look cleaner and more intuitive to use. Next, I pour alcohol into the stove. The steel wool inside holds and distributes the fuel evenly, keeping contained within the stove's structure instead of spilling out. Next, I prepare a three-legged stand to place a pot above the stove. The tripod design provides greater stability on various surfaces, while also creating an appropriate distance between the pot and the flame. When used together with this mini stove, the stand makes cooking more stable, safer, and more convenient during operation. I use a long stick and bring it close to ignite the stove. This method helps maintain a safe distance, preventing my hand from getting too close to the flame. Once the fire catches, the stove enters a stable operating state. When operating, this mini stove is not only suitable for cooking, but also provides a noticeable warming effect. The heat generated by the flame is concentrated within a small space, helping to warm your hands or the surrounding area in cold conditions. Thanks to its compact and lightweight design, it is especially useful in outdoor situations where a temporary heat source is needed to keep warm. Overall, this tin can stove is a simple yet effective DIY solution. From discarded materials, it is possible to create a compact, lightweight product with a high level of practical usefulness. Although the design is rustic, it is well thought out and sufficient to meet basic needs, such as heating or simple cooking in outdoor conditions. From tin cans that would otherwise be thrown away, we can create a simple yet useful mini stove. The process is not overly complicated. The materials are easy to find, and the cost is low, yet it delivers clear practical value. This is not only a tool for outdoor heating or cooking, but also a demonstration of how old items can be reused in a smart, economical, and creative way in everyday DIY projects.